Hello everyone and happy Monday. I hope that your week is off to a good start. I'm Nitsa and I post a draft video each and every Monday of the latest format right now. That means Aether Revolt. This pack is an interesting one. Release the Gremlins is quite strong. Just think of it as like a 3-mana 2/2 that destroys an artifact when it comes into play. That'd be a pretty great card. So I'm thinking about taking it. I also really like Treasure Keeper though. It's a great card and it's also good because it's colorless, so I'm not really committing to anything. I'm more open. Aether Swooper is also quite good. Both of these removal spells are they're okay. You'll play them, but you don't really want to take them early. They're both, kind of underwhelming. They look like they do more than they do. And Aether Stream Leopard's pretty good too, but we're just going to take Treasure Keeper. I think that's what we'll take here. Release the Gremlins is a close second, though. Okay, well, I think I got to take Maverick Thopterist here. As good as Daring Demolition is, Maverick Thopterist is nuts. We already have an artifact. It's one of the best cards in the set. I like Daring Demolition a lot, but I think I like Maverick Thopterist even more. You do, of course, have to end up in blue-red. That's the risk you run in taking it instead of just taking a one-color card. But it's strong enough that I'm going to take it. I even think it's first pickable sometimes. In any pack that doesn't have a bomb rare, basically, because it's so good. So we'll take the Thopterist. It's just a great card. It reminds me of Whirler Rogue from Magic Origins. It's not quite as broken as that card was, but it's pretty close. It doesn't make things unblockable, like Whirler Rogue did. But you can play it sometimes for 3 mana, and that's pretty nuts. Right, Hungry Flames is probably what we take here. I do like Monstrous Onslaught a lot as well, and it would be possibly what I would take over Hungry Flames if I hadn't already taken a Thopterist. But because I already have the Thopterist, and I think Hungry Flames is almost as good as the Onslaught, I think I take the Hungry Flames instead. I mean, Chandra's Revolution is also quite good, but it's not as good as Hungry Flames, so we will take that. Not any really good blue cards here, it's worth noting. Could end up like red, green, and splash the Thopterist. That's always nice. Being able to splash is always nice. You do basically have to be green to do it. You can also pick up a couple Renegade maps in any color and do it, but they're sought after so much that it's usually hard to get to unless you're like really taking them over like great cards, and sometimes that's not the best to do. Like I wouldn't want to take it over any of these 3 cards, all 3 of which I think are first pickable sometimes. So I think we're off to a pretty good start in this draft. Okay, now it's looking good for us. Those are some good blue cards. We've got Aether Swooper, who's great. We've got Bastion Inventor, who's pretty good. There's also a Renegade map that I just mentioned. Trophy Mage, also okay. Well, it's more than okay, but you do have to end up with, a mobile garrison or something for it to be worth it, because it has to cost 3. But we're going to take Aether Swooper here over the Inventor. I just think it's better. It's a 2-drop. It gives you a servo to help with Improvise, and it's got evasion, so it's definitely what we take here. Really liking the start of this draft. All 4 of these cards are cards I'm very happy to play in these colors, so I'm liking that. Another Trophy Mage. Also a Dispersal Technician. Destructive Tampering's okay. These destroy target artifact effects are usually main boardable. At least one of them is. Probably going to take Trophy Mage here, actually. We don't have a 3-drop yet, a 3-drop artifact yet, but probably going to get one. Dispersal Technician's solid, but I like Trophy Mage a little bit more, so we'll take it. Welder Automaton, also worth looking at, since we're going to be improvising. But I'm going to take the Mage there. Okay, here I think we take Leave in the Dust. Metallic Rebuke and Salvage Scuttler both sort of have their place, especially the Rebuke, but I'm going to take Leave in the Dust here. So red's not looking super open for us, sadly. So we may end up in a different color and trying to splash the Thopterist or the Hungry Flames. We'll see. I mean, Welder Automaton is basically a red card, and we saw it, and I'd be happy having it in this deck, so... But we should slightly value 3-drop artifacts a little more than usual. However, that does not mean taking Consulate Turret, which I don't think is very good, unless you're really an energy-centric strategy. I could think about taking Rebuke here, and hope we just end up with enough artifacts that I can Rebuke for 1 mana a lot of the time. But I might just take a Sailback. It's just a big monster. It's not, especially interesting. So it's worth thinking about. There's not like a guarantee I actually end up in an artifact deck, the way things have kind of been going. So as Metallic Rebuke's pretty good, but I don't love it. I don't really love Latnu Sailback either, to be fair, but I do like Watchful Automaton, though. Also like Dawn Feather Eagle, incidentally. But we'll take Watchful Automaton here. Gives us another artifact, which is good. I'm just not a huge fan of counter spells and limited in general. Even one that costs 1, it definitely is worse by the later part of the game. In the very early game, it's of course quite good, but Metallic Rebuke, sure, I would play it in a deck like this, but yeah, I would definitely be more interested in taking it later on when I can sort of feel that I'm going to end up with enough artifacts. Ooh, Aether Swooper number 2, yes please. We're going to take that over an Automaton. It's basically an artifact too, so blue seems very open. Red, on the other hand, is not guaranteed to be open, so we need to keep our eyes out for things. We now have 1 3-drop, by the way, for our Trophy Mage, so it's already worth playing, and you know, I'd be happy to pick up another Watchful Automaton too. I'm always happy to try. Okay, I don't hate Shipwreck Moray, and that's what we'll take here. Not Wrangle. Black's looking decently open. I mean, Fourth Bridge Prowler is an actual card that's playable, so another Shipwreck Moray or an Implement or an Ornithopter. You know, if we ended up in blue-black, the Ornithopter would be pretty good. I'm leaning towards the Implement right now. I mean, chances are, since we're in blue, we're going to end up in an artifact-centric deck of some kind. And the Moray is fine, but I think I'm going to take the Implement here. It is the most expensive of all the implements, but that's because what it does is pretty powerful. I'll take a Universal Solvent. Hopefully I don't have to play it, but it's not the worst thing to have to play. Now we have 2 3s to grab with our Trophy Mage, incidentally. These red cards, well, not really this one, but the other 2 red cards are quite good. And we'll take an Implement of Combustion just because maybe we end up in red. See, we got a Rebuke late. I mean, I'll probably play it. If I end up with like 10-ish artifacts, I'll probably play 1 Metallic Rebuke and feel okay about it. And we're already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting Aether Swoopers as artifacts since they make them. So we have another Hungry Flames. There's also a Consulate Crackdown, which is quite good. And another Monstrous Onslaught, which is quite good. We had the same Hungry Flames Monstrous Onslaught pack. Because I already have Maverick Thopterus, though, I'm definitely leaning towards Hungry Flames. I also really like Aether Chaser. That's really the only other card in this pack for us. But obviously, I think all 3 of these cards are first pickable. The Crackdown, I think, is even main boardable most of the time. You just have to be prepared to side it out because sometimes it is just bad. But against most people, you're going to at least get a 2-for-1, and that's pretty good. But we're going to take another Hungry Flames and just try to make red happen because the red card we have are so good. And if blue's open enough, we can sort of just splash red. Okay. Well, there's a Srom and an Airdrops Aeronauts and a Felidar Guardian, all of which are really good white cards. I don't really think, like, you know, in a world where I have 2 Hungry Flames and a Maverick Thopterus, I think it's better to stay where we are than it is to try to spread out into white, although all 3 of these white cards are great. Weldfast Engineer is not bad. There's also a Renegade map and a Mobile Garrison. Kind of leaning towards the map. Opening us up the ability to splash is a very real effect. Sweatworks Brawler, though, might just be the better pick for this deck at this point. I mean, we're going to be able to play him on turn 3 a lot of the time already. Is opening up the splash worth it? That is a good question. I mean, you basically have to pick up 2 things that help you splash, but I think we are going to take it. It's also an artifact, and our deck's going to care about that. It already does a little. Well, see, we opened up the splash, and now we got a pretty good card to splash, but I think I'd probably just take another Aether Swooper. I could take this because it's nice to splash the Spire Patrol, but I think I'd take the Swooper over Sweatworks Brawler or Welder Automaton. Swooper's just really good, and I'm perfectly happy to have as many of them as I can fit into my deck, basically. Well, here's Chaser, so we probably take that now. We're getting there on the Aether creatures here. Definitely I mean, Outland Boar is probably like the best card in this pack in a vacuum, but Aether Chaser is number 2, and then probably Dawn Feather Eagle. But we'll take the Chaser here. We do want some cards with Improvise with the number of artifacts we're going to be making. So that's worth keeping in mind. We'll only play the map if we end up wanting to splash, and right now we don't really have a reason to. We don't have, like, other than our Hungry Flames, we don't have, like, and those aren't just a straight-up kill removal spell, so if we pick up, like, in the next pack, if we get Unlicensed Disintegration, then we'll be very happy we have Renegade Map, because that's a great removal spell that we'll want in this deck, so we'll be all over it. Hopefully I don't have to play the Sailback in the end. but it's not the worst thing to have to play either. But, you know, ideally he won't make the cut because I'll have better cards than him. Kind of feel that way about the Moray too, although we do have 4 creatures who like all the energy to keep coming because they make you servos, so that's worth keeping in mind. All right, well, we got a Bastion Inventor here. I think that's probably just what we take. Another Automaton wouldn't hurt, but Bastion Inventor just sort of goes with what we're trying to do here, improvising and everything, so we are going to take it happily. Wouldn't mind the red. Oh, we actually do have one, don't we? There we go. I forgot I took one when it didn't look like we were going to play red. And red's still not very open, but I think when you have a Thopterist and 2 Hungry Flames, it's probably worth playing. I mean, if blue's open enough that I'm picking up enough playables, then that's fine, because the power of our red cards is just so high, the few that we do have. Okay, well, and we're getting a Sweatworks Brawler here, so that's good. I think that's what we take. I do like Countless Gears Renegade a lot if we were white, and Prey Upon's of course good too, but I think Sweatworks Brawler is exactly what we want in our deck. We're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, these, you can maybe count them as half artifacts because they're not always going to get going, but you know, I'm going to count them 6, 7, 8. We have 9 artifacts, so pretty good. I think we take another Bastion Inventor here. Ice Over is worth looking at, but not as good as a Bastion Inventor, I don't think. Okay, now we're going to take a Shock. Ooh. Enraged Giant, you say. Another Spire Patrol, and we can sort of splash. We probably need to pick up like a Prophetic Prism too to feel okay about it. But here I think it's really between Enraged Giant and Shock. I like Enraged Giant a lot, and we do have a ton of artifacts, so I think I'm going to take him. Like, suddenly, now that we have these 4 really good cards, you know, with Improvise, every artifact we see is sort of like goes up like a half letter grade if you think about cards as letter grades, or half a point if you think about them like the way, you know, LSV does his set reviews. They go up by a lot now, so artifacts are very good for us. And there's a Leave in the Dust here, but artifacts are good enough for us that I think I'm taking Implement of Combustion. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Leave in the Dust is good, but we already have one, and we've got better removal, you know, or interactive spells than that. We also have this guy with Improvise, who's quite good, but not like a game-winning card like the rest of this. I think white must be really open, but obviously we're not in it, so I'm going to take a Dispersal Technician. I think I'll probably start him in the sideboard, just like I will this Negate. He's good, but you just sometimes run into people. I mean, you know, if you're paying 5 for a 3/2 that bounces, that gets rid of a servo, that's not bad. But I feel like I just have better things in my deck. I mean, we're already going to be fighting to figure out what we want to keep. And like right now, Shipwreck Moray is probably out. Implement of Examination maybe is out just because it's so much more expensive than the other implements. Yeah, white is open. These are both very playable white cards. But I'll take into Custody. I'm not going to play it, but it is on color. It'll show people, you know, that blue isn't open at all. But I like the look of this deck a lot. We might want the Moray in the event that we pick up the gold card in the next pack. Whirler Virtuoso, that's it. So keep that in mind. Okay, wow. This pack is just like devoid of anything for us. It's kind of crazy when that happens. There's like 1 red card, 2 red cards, and 1 blue card, basically. And it's not the best pack in general, honestly. Like Elegant Edgecrafters, Blossoming Defense, like the 2 best cards, and then like Wayward Giant, and then maybe Impeccable Timing, and the rest, you know, are sort of replacement level cards, maybe a little lower, some of them. Most of them are lower. Do I want another artifact, or do I want Wayward Giant? I don't think we really need a Wayward Giant. We've got some big monsters for the end of the game. I guess I'm going to first pick a Fireforger's Puzzle now, which doesn't feel great, but that's what we're doing here. It's another artifact for all of our Improvise. So, there are worse things you could first pick, maybe. Not really, actually. That hurts pretty bad, but that pack was just useless to it. May as well have never seen it. Ooh, Foil Gonti is pretty nice. We got P-Foul, we got Malfunction, and we got Sky Skiff, basically, is what we're looking at here. This could help us splash white. Like if we had picked up the the gold, blue-white gold card in the last pack, I would probably take it, but I think I'd probably just take Malfunction here. Gives us a removal spell that's fairly permanent, at least, as opposed to most of what we have. I like P-Foul a lot, but I'm going to take Malfunction here. I bet I'll pick up a P-Foul still. Chances are good that I do anyway. Wouldn't mind another 3-drop artifact to search up with Trophy Mage. Wow, Fumigate. Whoever's in white in this draft is going to be a very happy person. Okay, well now we want Gear Seeker Serpent. That's definitely what we take here. He's basically got Improvise. He's exactly what we want. He's not an artifact like Filigree Familiar, who I'd love, and I also wouldn't mind an Aether Theorist, but Gear Seeker's like the card you want if you're building an artifact deck and you get to this pack, when you get to this pack. So I think we bring him in for sure. Yeah, our deck has just got so many playables that we can almost go mono blue, but with Hungry Flames, I don't think we want to do that, and the Thopterist, obviously. The red cards we do have are pretty nice. Okay, not really any good artifact option for us here. Is Incendiary Sabotage any good in our deck? I don't think so. Although these big guys survive it, but most of our stuff does not. Probably just Experimental Aviator instead of like Aether Torch Renegade or Reckless Fireweaver. Yeah, we're gonna take the Aviator. It's a good card. I mean, we're already getting to the point where we probably have to trim some things down. Like right now, I'd probably cut Metallic Rebuke. We really don't want to cut any artifacts if we can help it. We have 2 ways of making Thopters, which is nice. Why doesn't this one have Improvise? That would be nice. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see another Gear Seeker. Like that would be the dream, I guess. Do we want a big Ballista Charger? Our other options in this pack aren't great, but Alkan Blade Master is okay. And we do have a few instants. What? We got 2 Hungry Flames and Leave in the Dust. Makes it a little better. Reckless Fireweaver is probably just what we want, though. It gives us a 2-drop. It has synergies with our deck because we play a bunch of artifacts, so I think we'll take him. Ceremonious Rejection for the sideboard doesn't seem terrible. I don't think I can get trade wins into this deck, although maybe I should think about it if I have these 2 guys. I don't have anything else that really pays me off for doing that. Not in a big way, anyway. I can get more energy. Trophy Mage can find me the other 3-drop that she didn't find the first time. But I'm already need to cut a card out of this thing. So I think I'm just going to take the sideboard card because Trade Winds it's good, but it's not easy to decide what to put it in for. Okay, we'll take Thriving Grubs here. Self-Assembler, in a world where you can actually pick up some more of them, although there are assembly worker creatures in the first pack. I didn't pick up any, did I? No. No? No. I know one of them is the one with Improvise, but I know there's another one too. I just can't remember what it is. So put Thriving Grubs there. I would really not mind just another random artifact, but I could run Universal Solvent if I really want to. Take Rebuff for the sideboard. Take a High Tide Hermit. Looks like our deck's pretty much what it's going to be. Ooh, there's a random artifact, and one that I like. So we'll happily take that. All right. Our deck is very deep, though. I think we probably don't need Thriving Grubs. All of our other 2s are just going to be better for this deck, especially. Ooh, Inventor's Goggles, too. We have a lot of Artificers, so I'm fairly certain anyway. You're not one, though. I think a Wingsmith, probably don't play it, but you're an Artificer, you're an Artificer, you're an Artificer, yeah. Probably not playing that. So I think we probably don't play this Implement. It's just kind of clunky. It does leave us with only 1 target for Trophy Mage, so sometimes Trophy Mage won't get us anything. But that's okay. I think it's worth playing even if you just have 1 target. It's just definitely better when you have more, obviously enough. You can also think about cutting this from the main board. I can side it in if there's a lot of X1s in my opponent's deck. Another Trade Winds if we wanted one. I really like this deck, though. We did exactly what you want to do here. Like, we got a bunch of artifacts at 1 and 2, and I'd probably play Renegade map just because of that. Although it could be on the chopping block, I guess. But yeah, we have a lot of artifacts, and then we have late game that's all about the improvise, you know, or Regular Seeker Serpent, who's not technically improvised, but basically is. So I like it a lot. We could think about cutting the Renegade map. We do need to cut one more card, I think. But yeah, we have 9, 10, 11. We have 11 artifacts basically, so that's pretty good. And you can kind of count this as half an artifact because she can find me one a lot of the time. And then these make artifacts too. So yeah, we got a lot of artifacts. So we could think about cutting Renegade map. We're not splashing anything. We never really found a reason to. So we could think about cutting it. It's probably like the least useful card left in our library. It does let us improvise, which is relevant, but we have a lot of other, we have 7 other early cards that help us improvise. So that's probably not necessary. So I think this is basically the deck. I'm glad we stayed blue-red. I think it came together pretty well. Definitely more blue than red, though we do have 2 implements of combustion. Then we also have a PFAL. So we're definitely more blue than red, like I said. That's kind of extreme. I think we probably go 9-8. Yeah, that's probably good. We can scry with this, and we have these who can cycle to help us find whatever color it is that we need. So, all right, I like the look of this deck a lot. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to click the like button. If you want to make sure you see more of my draft videos, you can hit subscribe to this channel. You can also go over to a channel called the Aether Hub, where I, along with a bunch of other great Magic the Gathering creators, post content that we work on together, including draft videos that I post over there. I post one there every week and one here every week. And if you want to ask me any questions about this draft, you can, of course, post comments about it if you think I made a bad pick or whatever. It's always good to talk about those things. It always makes us better at Magic. And finally, my content here on this channel is sponsored in part by 5colorcombo.com. You can head over to their website to find a lot of great Magic the Gathering content, as well as a store where you can use the discount code NEETSAHONE5 for a 5% discount. So thanks for watching.